Cavalry have been waiting a while for a good commander, and Arthur Pendragon skills were released literally 10 minutes ago. So today, I'm going to be going over all of Arthur Pendragon's skills. They're very wordy, they're quite complicated, but I think it's going to be a pretty interesting commander. So if you're interested in Arthur Pendragon and you want to see my full breakdown of his skills and his new and unique talent tree, you want to stick around till the end of the video. Now, let's start off by just going over Arthur Pendragon's skills himself, and as you can see, this is the commander, once and future king. He's riding a cavalry unit, and his talents are cavalry, versatility, and combo. Combo, you're going to notice, is the new type of damage he does. Starting off with Arthur Pendragon's active skill. It is an AoE, which is an amazing thing to have at the start, because Arthur Pendragon, or I mean cavalry in general, need an AoE. It has a rage requirement of 1,000, and this is where we get into the meat of it. If this commander is serving as a primary commander, their troop gains the Sword in the Lake effect, which launches 2 combo attacks. Now we can see here, combo attack damage is affected by bonuses to normal damage. Combo attacks can trigger any effect triggered by basic attacks, e.g. whenever this commander's troop launches / is hit by a basic attack effects, they do not trigger counterattacks. So I'm guessing this means combo attacks may not trigger counter attacks on enemies. I don't know, combo attacks are a little bit confusing right now, but it is saying he's going to launch 2 combo attacks against 3 enemy troops, fan-shaped area, 1400 damage factor. I think that means it's 2 of these active skills, so that's 1800 total damage, so 2800 total damage factor. And you can see here, if he's serving as the secondary commander, their troop's going to gain the Sword Stone effect, which is going to deal direct damage to 3 enemy troops in a fan-shaped area, 2800 every additional target, reducing damage. Simply what it's trying to say, the first thing, combo attacks, I'm guessing is boosted by your normal attacks. If you have a very high normal attack damage bonus, combo attack will be better, and you're also going to do 2 attacks, which means your combos, or like you're going to deal a combo and you're still going to get the same amount of damage factor, but if you run him as a secondary, you're going to get a different effect, which is going to make him deal a different type of damage. So it's a little bit interesting there with that active skill, a little bit complicated. I think this is something that kind of needs to be more tested in game and cleared up in game to be fully understood. But so far it is high enough damage factor for me to say that it's relatively meta. And it is also looking to be strong enough for me to say that you could definitely get away with running this commander on the open field just from an active skill look. But then we're going to move on to his second and third skills. So here is Pendragon's second skill. This commander's cavalry units gain 20% march speed. That's a really, really nice amount of march speed. And if they're attacking a field troop, which will commonly happen, the cavalry units will gain 30% attack and 20% health. Now keep in mind, field troops, anything that's on the open field, so no rally, no garrison troops on the map, pretty much anything on the map, resource nodes don't count. So if you're just hitting someone in the open field, you're going to get 30% attack, which is very good, and 20% health, which is definitely meta level. So those stats, that's actually a very heavy stat skill to have there. The march speed is very nice. Cavalry aren't slow, obviously. I mean, they're known to be the fastest troop in the game. But I mean, giving him a bit of march speed definitely has helped them a lot. And giving him even more march speed will help them even more. So Pendragon, he's definitely going to be a fast commander. And he's going to have a relatively punchy active skill. Moving on to his third skill. If this commander is serving as a primary commander, their troop gains the Scabbard of the Lake effect, granting it a 10% bonus to combo damage. So that's really going to be nice with his active skill. If you want to run him as a primary commander, you're going to be able to get bonuses on that combo attack. And again, combo attack is influenced by normal damage, which means it can be really good if you've got a very strong normal damage commander. I'm pretty sure Attila would be a very good example of that. The other option, if this commander is serving as a secondary commander, their troop gains the Scabbard of the Stone effect, granting it a 10% bonus to skill damage. So you can see, very, very similar to Shajar here, you can certainly run a march such as a primary or a secondary version of this commander. It's more just down to which pairings do you have access to. Shajar can be run as a secondary, for example, with Philip II. I think she can also be primary with him. She can be a secondary and you can use her healing effect, or she can be a primary and you can use her skill damage. So Arthur, very similar in that way. He's kind of a good transition commander for what I would say is a future of cavalry, seeing a bit more combo attack, and I'll talk about that later. The last part of this skill, if this commander is attacking a field troop, these damage bonuses are multiplied by 3. Now, first of all, combo attack, they've re-explained it here. The second bit here, this includes direct damage and additional damage. So you can see here, skill damage is direct and additional, so that's not actually that important. And then a field troop is the same as the second skill. So Pretty much, it's just going to be up to a 30% bonus to skill damage or a 30% bonus to combo attack. And combo attack, I think, could be really powerful with some future commanders, or possibly the upcoming, I think it's a Cavalry Rally, or possibly his 4th and 5th skill, because I haven't actually seen them yet. Moving on to Arthur's 4th skill, if this commander is attacking a field troop, whenever it launches a combo attack or deals direct damage, it has a 30% chance to reduce the target's rage by 100 every second for 2 seconds. Now, I don't know if this counts as will his AoE have that effect, or is it something that it's only when he deals that damage? Moving on to the second part of the skill though, whenever he uses an active skill, Arthur's going to gain 30% march speed for 3 seconds. This fourth skill is very meh. There's nothing too crazy. There's a lot of rage reduction commanders already in the game. Belisarius Prime is a really good example of that. There's a lot of talents that can reduce rage nowadays, so I don't know how powerful this actually is. It does look interesting though. I don't think it's really weak. It just seems like it's a pretty average skill around. Now, if it's an AoE effect that can trigger this, then I think it could be really good. If not, it's probably a bit average. Finally though, moving on to his expertise, if this commander is serving as a primary commander, their troop gains the Light of the Lake effect. Whenever their troop launches an attack, there is a 50% chance to launch 1 extra combo attack, a damage factor of 300. Now, that can definitely work better with the 4th skill. That makes a lot more sense now. Once you expertise Arthur, you're going to have a higher chance of doing combo attacks, and then this rage reduction can actually be used. So I think expertise seems to be quite important with him, otherwise his 4th skill is almost completely useless. The second part of this skill, this effect can trigger multiple times per second. Each time it triggers in a single second, it has its chance to trigger is reduced to 50% of the previous trigger chance. So in theory, he could get an unlimited chain of combo attacks and deal like a stupid amount of damage in one turn. The chance of that, super low, but there's a possibility, for example, for Arthur Pendragon to one-shot a rally if you got lucky enough. Now, I highly doubt it, but there is a chance of that to happen. It is a cooldown of 10 seconds though. So let's say you get super lucky and you manage to trigger the damage factor 10 times, which would be an absurdly low chance, you get 3,000 instant damage. Now, if you get that to trigger 100 times, which is next to impossible, you'll probably run a one-shot any march. So I think this is an interesting skill. It definitely could be powerful. It's kind of like Leo Chair's skill, I think, without the restriction, because I don't think Leo Chair can double trigger. But the chance of double trigger happening, I think, is like a 12.5% if I think off the top of my head. That's like 600 damage factor. It's nice, but you're never really going to get something that's that absurd. So I think that really it's like an extra 300 damage factor every 10 seconds or so, which is nice. You might occasionally get a little bit more, but really you care about it for this 4th skill. You're going to have a good chance to trigger that rage reduction, especially if this skill, his expertise, doesn't line up with his active skill. So if Arthur's active skill triggers the rage reduction and then he gets that extra combo attack, then we could see that being quite a good synergy with a lot of rage reduction happening. But I don't think this skill is going to be ridiculously OP, where you're just going to one-shot a bunch of marches. It'd be absurdly rare. There might be a chance or a video of it happening one day, but definitely not right now. Moving on to the second part of his skill though, if Arthur's a secondary commander, his troop gains the Light of the Stone effect. Whenever their troop deals direct damage, they have a 25% chance to deal additional damage every second for 1 second, so they just pretty much trigger additional damage. Damage factor is going to be equal to 50% of the direct damage factor. So for example, Arthur Pendragon's active skill, he's going to deal 2800 direct damage to 3 targets. His expertise will allow him to deal half of that 2800 again to the 3 targets as additional damage. So you can influence that with some skill trees. You can go and get, I think there's an additional damage. I know there's an additional damage talent I'm forgetting the name of that branches off the skill tree. You can pick that up and it's going to be good. So it looks like Arthur's got the potential to be either a primary or a secondary. I can see him working as both. I can see his combo attack working nice if you've got a good high normal damage commander. And I think overall his kit looks to be quite powerful. There's nothing distinctly weak inside of his kit if I were to say. Everything looks pretty nice. I like the expertise. I think that it could be very interesting if we do see like a instant one-shot. However, I do think that's going to be super rare. So there's a chance he does have the possibility to be the first commander in the game to one-shot a rally or one-shot another commander, but it would be next to impossible for that to occur. But one day we may see an Arthur Pendragon deal 50 million damage factor because he gets the most ridiculous roll because he can get multiple triggers per second, which is super interesting. I highly doubt that's going to happen in a normal open field situation. The last thing to talk about with Pendragon, though, is his new talent tree. This is the combo attack talent tree, and they've given us a little bit of a hint here. We don't know everything that's in the tree, but we can see, first of all, number 1, which is the talent I'm encircling right now. It's called Blizzard of Blows. There's 3 talents available, and whenever this commander's troop launches any type of basic attack, he's going to have a 10% chance to reduce the target's health by 1.5% for 3 seconds. This stacks up to 5 times. Multiple troops can stack this effect against the same target. So right now, Blizzard of Blows looks like it's pretty meh. You might have a good use if you get a lot of combos going, especially if his expertise can trigger this Blizzard of Blows talent, but it looks like it's more for when you have multiple different combo commanders, and currently Arthur is the only one in the game besides the Rally, and I think the Rally is going to need to be with Arthur if you want to run him on the open field. Generally, that's what happens. So for example, Chia Young, only good with Shajar. Blizzard of Blows looks like it's good, but you want to have multiple different combo marches, at least 2 to 3 in my opinion, to get full value from it. But it can still be nice. You might get up to like a 3% health reduction for a couple of seconds, which isn't bad. There's also no cooldown on this, which is nice. So I think this talent's okay, but it's nothing too crazy. The next thing, no quarter. Whenever this commander launches any type of combo attack, it's going to gain 15 rage. That is pretty nice. That rage gain could be pretty decent, especially with the expertise or on his active skill. It can kind of be like a rejuvenate, but slightly better. So I do like no quarter. No quarter is the talent down here, number 2. I think that is a good talent. Blizzard of Blows, probably a little bit worse than no quarter. I like the rage gain, but I could see Blizzard of Blows still being pretty good. Moving on to the third talent, which is the one here with like the dude kind of flexing. Whenever this commander launches any type of basic attack, it is a 10% chance to gain a 3% bonus to damage dealt for 3 seconds, cooldown of 5 seconds. Again, that's pretty solid of a talent to have. Getting a full 3% bonus to damage for 3 seconds, it's decent, and you don't really need to have a big combo stack here. You don't need a lot of combo marches, you don't even need combo damage. It's just a 3% all damage bonus for 3 seconds, which is nice, and it's got a relatively short cooldown. Moving on to the last thing, the biggest talent in the tree, the end talent. Whenever this commander's troop launches a combo or ranged combo attack, which means we're probably going to see ranged combo commanders, unless the new ones are ranged combo and I'm forgetting, it is a 10% chance to launch an extra attack / ranged combo attack. Damage factor of 250. This is essentially just giving you extra ranged or combo damage, which is going to, again, line up really well with his 4th skill, which is extremely interesting. So I think that talent is probably very powerful on the open field. I wouldn't say it's game-breaking, but it's definitely solid and it's definitely strong enough for me to say it could deal a good amount of damage. Now, moving on to which commanders do I think could pair well with Arthur Pendragon, and I think one that could be really interesting, now I don't know if I'm willing to bet on it, but I could say there's a very good chance of him being good with him, is Attila. Attila is really reliant on normal damage and normal damage bonuses. Combo damage is affected by normal damage. So there's a very, very good chance that Attila could be a powerful pairing with Arthur Pendragon. The only issue I have is for Attila's buff to be really good, you need him to be the primary. And the only problem with that is if Arthur wants to use his combo damage, unless I'm mistaking it, he needs to be the primary. I did just do a double check. He needs to be the primary to deal his combo damage. So Attila, it could be interesting, but you can't get full advantage of his normal damage bonuses because you want him to be the primary to get that normal damage and then you deal the combo damage, but you won't have that because Arthur needs to be the primary. So it could be interesting. Maybe if the way that combo damage works, it might roll over onto the next turn, which means that Attila's normal damage bonus can be taken advantage of, but there probably isn't a high probability of that. If I were to guess, Attila's normal damage or his normal damage or the combo damage bonus or extra damage he deals will not roll over into Attila's extra normal damage. So I don't know how good Attila's going to be with Arthur. There's definitely a possibility. I think that needs a bit of in-game testing for it to be fully discovered. I think as a secondary commander, he's going to be good with someone like Nevsky. He's going to be good with someone like Hao Bing, who's got fast, punchy rage cycles. But I see Arthur being a pretty good primary commander because combo damage seems to give him a lot of different bonuses. I think it gives him better advantage on his 4th skill, and I think his expertise maybe is a little bit better with the combo damage. I could see it though being good as well with the skill damage. So I could see him being a good secondary to Nevsky, a good secondary to someone like Hao Bing. I don't know about him as a secondary to Belisarius. I think that would be pretty mid, to be fully honest. I don't think Belisarius would be that amazing as a primary commander. So overall, I think maybe Belisarius isn't the number one pair for him, but Nevsky or Hauche Bing are definitely possibilities in my opinion, and Attila is a really interesting one I think people should keep their eye on. Takeda also could be an interesting commander. His burn effect mixed with his expertise giving you 80% more normal damage could be ridiculous with a combo commander. I feel like Arthur with Takeda could be a ridiculous pairing because it's not as reliant on Attila. For example, Attila needs his active skill. Takeda's active skill, it's kind of similar, but I feel like it's got a little bit of a better chance to deal some extra damage. Now, I don't really know Takeda's skills back to front, nor do I fully know Attila's back to front. They are commanders who came out a long time before I started really getting into other commanders, but I think that Attila and Takeda have possibility to be a good pairing with Arthur. I just don't know how good it could be. One thing I would say is if you have an Attila Takeda March and you have an Arthur in your murder board, they're going to synergize well because you can run that March, you can get its damage bonuses on, and then Arthur can deal his own damage. So maybe that's probably what would occur, or be at least a lot stronger, but that's a lot more reliant on having the Attila Takeda March, which isn't the most meta nowadays. So I could see it being really powerful. Just, I don't know if I'm fully sold on an Attila or Takeda pairing with Arthur, mainly because you want Arthur as a primary, and then Takeda is a better secondary, and Attila is a better primary, but Takeda's secondary is only really good because of Attila's active skill. I don't fully know how they'd end up synergizing. Now, I see it as a possibility, but I just don't fully know. We'll have to wait until he's in the game, or until we have the ability to look at some testing. Now, if you enjoyed today's video and you'd like the fast, speedy information I gave you, because I'm pretty sure this video is coming out literally probably about half an hour after his skills were released, then please do consider subscribing. I try to make fast, informative videos that I can get out nice and quick so that everybody can watch, and you can get a pretty decent understanding of the commander. So if you're interested in more videos like this, if you want the fast commander releases, if you want to know about the new commanders and most things you need to know about them, my channel is going to be one of the best places to subscribe to. It also really supports me, and it is much, much appreciated. Other than that, I just want to say I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.